Hope you guys are all doing amazing. In today's live stream, we are going to be talking about, yes, you guys guessed it, swing trading stocks. We're going to be talking about our strategy, our approach here on how I've been a full-time swing trader for over 6 years, the strategies, stocks I'm holding, some stocks with some opportunity. So welcome everybody. Hope you guys are all doing very, very well. And right now, guys, don't forget you guys can use code SCHOOL for 50% off where we actually have a full course. We got a group chat, private live streams, quizzes, lectures, everything. If you want to take swing trading seriously, I highly recommend checking it out. It's absolutely fantastic, and welcome everybody. As you guys can see, I did everyone in the group, so we are ready to rock and roll here. So let's jump into this. And like always here, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. That's why we go live. That's why I do this. So feel free to ask in the chat. So all right, so stocks that I'm holding, obviously for those of you that have been watching and you're just wondering how to trade and you're just getting started here, I want to break down a stock here, and then you'll kind of see how most of the stocks that I trade are all very, very similar. For me, I love the expression MISS, M-I-S-S, make it simple, stupid. I'm not going to overcomplicate things and all that stuff. So can you talk about the coaching, and it's recommended to all experience levels? I'm new to trading and was thinking of enrolling. So yes, so it is for anybody that's getting started. It's also for people that have been trading for a while, right? Everybody, whether you're a beginner or you've been swing trading for years, you're going to get value out of this, right? We have a group chat, but more importantly here, what we actually teach is you to build your own strategies, build your own checklist, and all that stuff, in my opinion, is very, very important. I always choose quality over quantity, and I'm not going to be sending you alerts every day. I'm going to be teaching you the scanners where you guys can look for opportunity, and stuff like that. I feel like it's a lot better off. I feel like alerts are scammy. I have very, very realistic expectations. I'm sure you guys have watched some of my, $500 account swing trading challenges. Yeah, I grow my account, but so what? It takes me a minute, right? I focus on compounded returns. Those 1%, 2%, 3% returns. Over the those 1%, 2%, 3% returns over the course of a year is what makes up a swing trader. So great question. And he's enrolled. So that's awesome. That is awesome. All right. So getting started here with building a checklist, making a checklist. For me, I love stocks with an upward trend. So obviously with the Microsoft stock here has this great upward trend, and it's sold off down to the 200-day moving average line. Moving average lines are and should be your bread and butter for traders, right? They act as support, they act as resistance. So, you just have a higher indication of just getting buying pressure. And another thing here is looking for RSI. The RSI at the time of purchase was trading at a 22, which is really, really nice. The last time it was trading for a 22 was all the way back, right? All the way back here in right here, 2015. Almost a dip there. That was about a 24, but in general, it's been a long time. So we just had that good, tendency of getting buying pressure there. The next thing is risk and reward. For me, I like a minimum of 2 to 1 for my risk and reward. Obviously, 3 to 1 is going to be better, and with this stock here is 3.6. So risking $1 to make $3.62, which is really nice. So. Somebody asked, do you trade stocks on a downward trend? And that's good to know. I guess the masterclass is set up for me to make my own strategy. Yeah, the biggest thing, right? If you're just starting out and you're building a strategy, what I did is I picked bits and pieces from traders and things that I understood, right? So if the strategy I use works well for you, take with it, run with it. I want you to succeed more than you can believe. But if you're like, oh, I don't like how the RSI, for you, you more or less trade stocks under 30 on the RSI. For me, I would rather do 35. Adjust it, right? Adjust it. If you like the 200-day and the 50 moving average line, change it, right? What I'm just doing is giving you a guide where you can pick bits and pieces from to build your strategy. So Somebody asked, do you trade stocks on a downward trend? It all depends on the approach, right? So, one of the things here that I really like and I think work very, very well is, obviously we have a upward long-term trend, right? But I will, right here, you guys can see that the weekly or the monthly trend is down, right? So yes, I will trade stocks on a downward trend. One of the things that I do look for as well is some sort of breakout, right? I don't think we have any right now, but I know we have some in the course in the team where we actually give you guys some examples of stocks breaking out of support and they actually squeeze up. So I'm sure you'll see that in there. All right, but yeah, I'm in on Microsoft, doing well. Google's finally picking its way up here, which is nice. Tap that 200-day moving average line. Hopefully we can get a push back up to the 90-day moving average line. That's the ideal plan for this. It was undervalued on the RSI at 26. It's slowly moving up. Another one here we're in on is Amazon. Amazon here didn't use a moving average line. How many stocks are you in at one time? So right now I'm in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stocks. 5 stocks. I will say that is about average, I would say. It definitely varies week by week. If I see a stock that is just giving me a massive opportunity, like during this dip down where, I'm sure you guys know where we saw like the S&P selling off. We saw just some of the worst days in the stock market this year. I'm sure you've seen where everything sold off. For me, I understand the approach behind it, and I'm sure you guys do too, but you have to look at that as opportunity. So I pick up companies that are on support lines, follow my strategy, and I'll just buy literally as much as I can of it. Obviously doing my due diligence and risk management, but nonetheless. So Amazon stock here. Great upward trend. You guys can see this heavy support on this line. Took a nice trade right there at the 158 area. Stock's rallying its way up. Textbook trend line strategy. And looking at this, you guys can see that it was actually on. This is kind of an example here. What some traders do. So you guys can see this trend right here, right? Let me delete this. So what some traders will do, and actually what a really, really good strategy is when you see this downward trend and you see that minimum of 3 touches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So what a lot of traders do is you enter when it breaks up above it. So right in this range, you would enter this position. Now doing that, you could set your stop loss below some of the support lines. So you can see we have a little support here, but I would probably set it around here, just because I know it gives us a little wiggle room, and the risk management I'm sure is pretty decent. So let's see that. So entering on that breakout, we'll go a little high just to be a little more realistic. We'll set our target price up to the resistance, and we'll set our stop below that. So see, risk and reward is about 4 to 1. So that's using a breakout strategy, right? So you're entering on that breakout of that trend. But yeah, so we entered Amazon. It's been doing very, very well. The last one here that we're in on is Meta. Meta's been a textbook trade, just basic support here. You guys can see boom, boom, boom. Sold off just due to the general market selling off. Now, the general market here, what do you think about what is that? VRRM. Let's pull it up. So VRRM here. Let's go ahead and look at some. Let's look at some moving. No, not those. This. Okay. Let's go to the daily. All right. So actually, it looks like we've looked at this stock in the past. All right, so you guys can see that this stock sold off down, hit that 200-day moving average line, bounced up. Now it's kind of on this, it looks like a nice little trend line here. Let's see here. Let's remove these and see how this trend line looks. So we do have a decent trend here. It's a little above it. But yeah, are you looking for a trend line trade? For me, I would look at it like a trend line trade, because you can see the heavy support here. Boom, 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 almost here. So if you entered at 27, set your stops at like 26.30. In a ideal situation, you'd set it below the lowest wick down here, but the risk and reward would be way too bad. So another thing, let's look at the hourly and see how that's looking. Let's throw up. And what was the so it's 37 on the RSI, actually 39. So it's kind of almost in that middle ground where it's not overvalued nor undervalued. Let's go to the hourly. Let's see how that looks. Let's throw up these. Okay, so you can see this general downward trend. It looks like it's starting to finally consolidate with something like that. You can see boom, boom. So I would enter probably on the breakout of the 200, because you can see that it almost hit it in the past, sold off. So it would give you, a little flexibility there on that entry point. How'd you analyze NVDA? Let's pull it up. So NVIDIA is obviously it's a growth play for sure. And you can see here, we had a lot of good things. We had the breakout of the 200. We had the golden cross where the lower moving average line breaks up through the higher moving average line. The last time it did that was back in, it looks like back in here, around here, where the stock rallied up after. So it's kind of one of those stocks here where, I don't know, it's for like a swing trade, I probably wouldn't trade it. And that doesn't mean there's no way to make money off it. It's just maybe on the breakout of this trend or something like that. I will only trade these companies that are moving up really high when they sell off a lot in most cases. Just because, we always hear that expression of buy low, sell high. And, given that NVIDIA is up a decent chunk, I don't know. It just, it doesn't follow my approach really, right? The RSI is over a 60. What are we at? RSI over 60. It's not on really a support line. I'm sure the risk and reward might be a little skewed if you're trying to trade it. But as far as a long-term investment goes, that's a way different story. And I think there, and that could be a lot better off. Yeah. So I would probably just hold off on it for like a swing trade. But for like a long-term play, of course, right? NVIDIA, it's going to carry a ton of potential. I would just, anytime this thing sells off, make sure, pick up a couple of shares. That's the approach I would have. And all right, so now let's move on to some stocks with some, some of these are stocks with opportunity. Some of them are going to be positions that, not positions, but stocks that we were looking for last week. And, honestly, it just didn't follow through, right? This is why having our checklist out, making sure that the stocks we like are following this. So like GFL here, you guys can see the trade was really nice. You could have entered on the breakout of, or really on the tap down of the 90-day moving average line. You could have entered on the breakout of the 200. Either way, it would have been a good trade here. You most likely wouldn't have gotten in after hours there, but you guys can see it entered here. Now the stock's starting to break up. Next bullish thing for the stock to do is do that golden cross, which could be nice, but it's already up, 2.9%. So, it's just one of those plays where, the train's already left the station a little bit. So another one here is ticker symbol. What is this one? Ticker symbol INFY. This one here I actually was going to trade. Look at this trend line. Beautiful. You guys can see beautiful trend line going up. It already had the golden cross right here. We had the breakouts of the moving average lines. So it's just working out very, very well. And for those of you watching, make sure you guys hit that like button. And if you guys are new, try to get our subscriber goal. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers in 30 days. So make sure you guys subscribe. When you guys subscribe, you guys should be able to pop up on the screen. And I think he does like a funny dance or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, so make sure you guys subscribe, like, and all that stuff. And don't forget to check out our course here. But you guys can see it's breaking out. Nice trend line going up with that one here. Ticker symbol MCK. MCK here. So can you talk more about your trade management process, like when you add, how much, how do you adjust your stop loss after adding? So if that just say, you know, let's go back to like some of the positions we're holding here. So one of the stocks here that we added to was Microsoft. And Microsoft we added because honestly, I entered on the dip down. You guys can see where it sold off. I entered on the moving average line just to hop in. I knew we had the earnings coming up. And if you guys remember, I literally said this could be a 50-50 chance of making money. I never do this, but I could always turn this into a long-term play. So the stock sold off, right, more. So when it sold off down, if we look at the hourly chart, you guys can see it sold off down and it started to find this support, right on this trend. So we added more, bringing our average cost to about 410, 408. And so we just added down on this position. We averaged our cost down, and obviously now we're up handsomely. The reason I did that is because if I would have just bought in, you know, up here, now I'm still in the negative, right? I'm still down on my money, and I knew we were going to get some buying pressure out of this. So another one for Meta, right? Meta, when I entered this, let's go ahead and see the hourly. Entered here, you know, on this rise up here. This was just heavy support. I haven't added more to it. If I were going to add more, it would have been back in here where it hit the moving average lines, but that was after hours. I also feel like now could be a good opportunity to enter on a moving average line. That's where I would enter if I'm going to add, is going to be on some sort of other support. I'm not going to be trying to add when the stock's, you know, hitting highs or anything like that. I'm adding when the stock is on either a trend line, support line, indicator, something along those lines. And then adjusting your stop loss. You know, when I enter the position, I will always, so if I entered here, I probably would just add or move the stop loss just below like the moving average lines or some sort of support. That's pretty much what I do. I will just continue to rally up. Hopefully what we can find is like something with like Amazon, where you guys can see where, let's go ahead and see where it has, and it's been forming, you know, like a nice little trend line. So now we can just keep our stop loss just below that trend. If it dips down below it, we're out. You know, for Google here, let's go ahead and go to the daily. It might make it a little easier. So for Google, I'm just keeping it below the 200-day moving average line a little bit. See if we can get a push up to the 90. The risk and reward's not the greatest, but in an ideal situation, we can get some push back up and fill that gap right there. So something like that there, though, guys. But all right, let's move on to some other plays here. I hope that answered your question. Let's move on here. So another stock that I actually really liked was ticker symbol BJ. Now this one here, you guys can see that the stock this was probably like my number one pick if we could get a push above one of these moving average lines. And you guys can see it was just forming this general downward trend. Looking at the daily, it has the long-term upward, which we look for. It sold off down to the 90-day moving average line and has just been consolidating there. Now, going back to the hourly, you guys can see it broke out here, you know, of all these moving average lines. It broke out after hours here and here. So now, as we look at it, if we enter at 80, what are we at? 86. If we enter at 86, we could set our stop loss below. I probably would keep it below, you know, the 90 moving average line. There we go. Let's do that. And set our target back up at high. So risk and reward is 3.95, which is pretty decent on that one. And all we were looking for was just some sort of breakout. This one here, obviously, did break out of these moving average lines as well. It did kind of find a little support there. It didn't hit it 3 times, it hit it twice, but then it's been breaking out ever since. These ones here, ticker symbol GH, this stock here, is approaching that 90-day moving average line. This stock here has nice, let's go ahead and see. It does have some support right here, boom, where it hits it, got good buying pressure, hits it. I want to classify it as heavy support just because it only has one, maybe two hits. It's right on that 90-day moving average line. The RSI is at a 40, so obviously we're not going to trade it, but this is just an example of like why you go through your checklist, making sure to do that, because yeah, we could get buying pressure, but the risk would be a little higher. MMS here hit that 90-day moving average line, and it's been rallying its way up. We actually traded the stock back in the day, but MMS kind of moving its way up. And any stocks you guys want me to look at, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask. All right, and going back to this one here, QNST. QNST has that nice upward trend, as you guys can see. You guys can see this one here. It actually does look kind of decent, right? It does look kind of decent. Let's draw this out a little better. So you guys can see it hits this line, 1, almost 2, 3, 4. So we could see this nice move from, the 90-day moving average line, push back up. Somebody asked, Snap, let's go ahead and pull it up. SNAP, Snapchat. Whoa, what are we doing? Missed the click. There we go. All right, so Snap has sold off. This one here has heavy support, as you guys can see. Heavy support. This one here does look pretty decent for a support stock. So what I mean by price support is this. Look at this line here. Let's remove some of this stuff just to make it a little clearer. Boom. Okay. So look at that yellow line. As we zoom out, you guys can see every time it hits that, boom, we got good buying pressure. Recently sold off, actually got that move up. So for me, I would if we hopped in at current price, I would set stops a hair below it. Let's see what the lowest wick is. 733. So I would set it, what are we at? 730. Okay, that's fair. Target back up to highs. Risk and reward 4.55. Let's go to the hourly and see kind of how it's looking here. So we do have some lows. Maybe some support here if we look at it. Let's see. Old resistance, possibly acting as new support here. So if you entered at like the $9 mark, that's not a bad trade. That's not a bad trade if you set your stops. Even if you set your stops there, the risk and reward would be really good. So entered here. Even if you set your stops tight, so let's just go, 780. There, 2.9, or wait, yeah, up here, I'll go up there. 3.73, not too bad. That's the approach I would take with it, though, to be honest, is entering on, finding some hourly support and entering there. Hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. And if you guys are watching, make sure you guys hit that like button. All that stuff means the world to me. So make sure you guys hit that like button. Subscribe, do what you guys do. If you guys are watching and you're not subscribed, you're missing out. You're missing out. You're missing out. And what's cool is I wish somebody could subscribe so I could see it work. And make sure, because we're trying to get our subscriber goal. Also, guys, if you guys want to get a trader's journal, I highly recommend them. I'll actually put the link to it in the chat for you guys here. Boom. Let's put it in. But all right, getting back on track here. We had the last stock here, ticker symbol OLMA. You guys can see on the hourly, it has this really nice support here. Boom, 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 boom. So now we could see this nice move going higher here. So looking at boom, 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 RSI. Okay. So it's trading on the 200-day moving average line. We have a little short-term trend, I would say. Something like that. We could see that nice move going up. Set your stops tight at like 1140. See it get a push up to 16. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. And obviously looking at like the hourly, we found that nice support here. So we could enter on the support. You know, when you enter on the support, it does carry a little more risk, but more reward, if that makes sense. So, but any last questions? Any last questions? Because we have gone through all the stocks with opportunity. You know, the biggest thing about being consistent in the market is base hits, right? Don't focus on home run trades. Focus on base hits that compound. That's what makes up swing trading. You know, one of the stocks here, where is it? We have Alibaba up today about 5.5%, which is good. You know, we're seeing some volatility there, but yeah, guys, we'll end it here. Any last questions for me? The last couple of times I've had people come on and I say, any last questions? And then somebody will go on and ask a question right when I close and I can't start the stream up again. So any last questions for me, guys? Don't forget to subscribe, like. When you guys subscribe, it does pop up, and I would love to see that, but you know, no big deal. And you know, we are going to be starting to go live on TikTok and stuff, so I'm excited for that. So you know, I hope you guys all enjoyed this. If you guys did, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week in the next one. Hope you guys have an amazing day, and we'll see you guys. Take care.